president will probably be much more amenable to NATO, much more attached to the current world arrangement, the current recipe for stability. How are Europeans and countries around the world viewing this dynamic? They're stuck, if I can use that phrase, with Trump now, but it's not forever. Is it that they know they can't sort of trust the United States to be consistent now?
I think that is essentially what they're saying. To your question, I personally think that we're not going to see the immediate effects of these kinds of shifts in the short term. The next president, I think, will see them because these are major transformations that are happening. You're seeing, for example, European nations now commit to 5% of their GDP on defense spending after spending decades, depending on the U.S., to sort of lead their defenses. You're seeing these deals start to come into fruition and being finalized. So the question for the next president is, if a new world order emerges in which the United States has a much different role, how does then the United States adjust to that? And I think that's going to be the challenge for the next administration. And what are the long-term implications for U.S. economic security, its military dominance, as these new deals start to come together in that post-Trump period?
Nancy, how does Trump's Board of Peace fit in to all this? I mean, originally conceived to enlist international help with the 20-point plan for peace and reconstruction in Gaza. It's morphed into something quite different. You can pay $1 billion to be an elite Gold Circle member. You can join for free, but only for a 3-year stint. I don't know how real or how effectual or what the Board of Peace is actually doing now. How does it fit into this discussion about how Donald Trump runs things for the next 3 years?
I think it really typifies how he thinks about his place and in resolving these conflicts, because the Board of Peace and its bylaws, which were published, doesn't mention Gaza, and in fact talks about sort of broad aims. But it does make him the sort of central authority in this. And some would see this as challenging traditional institutions that we have stood up and supported, like the United Nations, as sort of alternative approach. And so that plus the demand that there be funding towards this, I think creates this alternative sort of system in which it is very focused on Trump being at the center of this international peace architecture. A Board of Peace that, while ostensibly for Gaza, really goes beyond that, and really recasting leadership, global leadership roles and how we think about it, with all the sort of a hodgepodge of members in this Board of Peace. And so I think if you think about it, that is how Trump is thinking about foreign policy, not with traditional institutions, but ones that he's created on his terms in which he plays a central role.